Full transparency here from me, this is going to be a shorter video because I had another video I was in the middle of making when this news dropped. There is some news coming out of WB, coming out of Warner Bros. And Warner Bros. Games specifically because there was actually a whole earnings call recently, it was actually today on November 7th, where David Zaslav talked about the video game business and pretty much admitted that Batman is back. Now, will this be Batman Arkham? We don't know. But Batman Arkham is the proven one in terms of their video game viability for their financials, which it seems like is what they are focusing on right now. Keep in mind, this news is coming off the back of a lot of financial disappointments, multiverses, Suicide Squad, even, of course, as well, Gotham Knights allegedly did not do very well, though I don't think we got solid numbers on that. And they were talking about the gaming business and pretty much said, Batman is coming back. Now, if you enjoy this video, you want to leave a like, subscribe, let me know what you think in the comments down below. We're going to talk a little bit more about this, but I do have a question of the day for you, which is, what is a DC superhero that you would want to see get a video game, and how would you do it? I actually love reading those fan pitches, so if you want to do that in the comments down below or comment on somebody else's, I appreciate that. Now, that said, I play through a lot of games over on our Let's Play channel, Degenerate Plays. The link is in the description down below there. And of course, as well, a lot of you know I have a Fortnite code. But my point I'm getting to with this, other than some self-promo, is that when it comes down to it, WB has been in a weird place. Like, they dropped Fortnite, at least for now. They don't really do their DC skins there anymore. So Marvel moved heavily into that niche. So now you've got like tons of younger audiences or more casual gaming audiences becoming more and more and more familiar with the Marvel characters. And you have less and less becoming familiar with DC. Partially because allegedly they thought that Multiverses being a free game was going to somehow be a competitor with Fortnite. It's not even the same genre. So I don't know how they thought that, but that's the report, is that they had thought that. Now, that said, they talked about how much money they lost, which apparently was something like $300 million in the last year. And Zaslav went on to say, I think we're through some of the worst and it hasn't been pretty on the gaming business. But we have 4 games that are really powerful and have a real constituency that love them, basically a huge fan base. And we're going to focus on those 4 primarily. We're going to go away from trying to launch 10, 12, 15, 20 different games. I think we have a real chance now with a focus to have the gaming business be steadier. We have 4 strong and profitable, keep in mind that's the key word here, game franchises with loyal global fans. Hogwarts Legacy, Mortal Kombat, Game of Thrones, and DC, in particular Batman. We are focusing our development efforts on those core franchises with proven studios to improve our success ratio. So this is all business to them. It makes sense that it's all business to them. It always has been. It's up to the creative, developmental people, who are the artists under the executives to make it not just business, right? To make good art, good games, good movies, whatever, out of that drive for profit. You kind of have to have both. If you have no profit, you will never get another game, let alone if you're even able to get your first off the ground. But if you only focus on profits, you lose a lot of creativity. So that's kind of the angle I wanted to look at with this, where some people are going to look at me and they're going to say, hey, you kind of used to be the Batman Arkham guy. There was a time there where that was like your channel before you kind of went to variety. And like, you should be really excited for this. It's like Batman's back. You've been talking about, wanting to play Arkham Shadow, giving that a chance over on Degenerate Plays. And I know it's another promo, but I'm just telling you I have been. There's going to be people looking at it from that angle and they're saying, hey, aren't you excited? I am excited, believe it or not, but I wouldn't say that I'm ecstatic. Those Arkham games, they didn't just come out of a need to make profit. They came out of a desire to make something good. Now, you can argue that they didn't do that all the time, and that's fine. People like different ones differently. That's okay. But they came out of a desire first and foremost to make something really cool, innovative, and interesting. They didn't come from a studio mandate to go back to the well to find what works and do it again. So to me, that is sometimes a little bit of a worry when this is coming from the top, when this is coming from a mandate like, hey, you down there, yeah, we know you wanted to work on Suicide Squad, we know you wanted to work on Gotham Knights, but you're doing this. Now, sometimes that leads to really good products, but at the same time, if those people under don't have a passion for it, you're not going to get something good. And so that's one concern I have these studios under WB lost an interest in doing this? Like, for example, Gotham Knights. I don't see any reason why that couldn't have been restructured and reworked a little bit to be a better game and have taken place in the Arkham timeline, except that whoever was working on it did not have a passion for doing that. They seemed to want to distance themselves from it. You know, things as well like Suicide Squad, it felt like it was more almost studio mandated that it was tied into Arkham and it didn't fit, right? It didn't really fit. So that's kind of a case where it's like, it seems like these workers, these developers, had a key passion for something else. Now, do I think those things turned out very good? Not really. To be completely honest with you, no. But I wonder how much worse something would turn out if you put them on a project they don't care about. So that's kind of the first thing, is I think you need to get people there who care. Like, I'm not saying fire everybody at the studios, but like, if people don't have a passion for these projects, they need to leave, find a job that they are passionate about. And this goes for anyone in any industry, unless you're like a single mother or father supporting 3 kids and you're 1 paycheck away from losing your house. You should not be doing a job that you vehemently hate and you hate your life and you don't like. When you do that, bad things come out of it. Not just for you, but for the people you're working for the people you're providing a product for. It's just bad for everybody. So you need to have people there that are passionate about this first and foremost, and I think they really need to find those people, because I personally think a lot of those people are gone from those companies. Not all, but a lot. Secondly, I am concerned when you have a studio mandate where we already did not take chances with other DC characters. Now, yes, they said DC, but they did say Batman in particular. This is a problem DC has had forever. When you go to a comic book store, you look at DC Comics, Batman will have like 6 to 10 ongoing issues with the Bat family, and other people will be lucky to get 1 ongoing run. You know, you look at movies, there's always something Batman in the works, but there's not always something for someone else. And when games come down to it, it's been the same thing. At least in the modern era, Batman has gotten games. Nobody else has. I guess if you look at something like Injustice, it's like, yeah, there's team-based games, but it's not like, hey, look, there's this narrative-focused Wonder Woman game. Now, luckily, Monolith is working on one of those, but we also don't know if that's going to be good because it's allegedly had a lot of problems. And then when we're looking at things like, you know, Game of Thrones, I don't remember this, so you can tell me in the comments down below, but with Amazon having the license to make Lord of the Rings, I'm kind of also wondering, did WB forget about things like Shadow of, you know, like Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, that kind of stuff? Because that was a proven, profitable, good working thing. But I don't know if they even have that license anymore. But I think they do, because they have the Nemesis system, like they have a patent on it or a trademark or whatever where no one else can use it. So I'm kind of sitting here like, hey, there are some things here that have been proven successes for WB you're not mentioning. But secondly, I do feel like there were a lot of bad Batman games and mid-Batman games before we got Arkham. And I feel like when they look at things from this lens, while it is good for getting Batman back, and I'm happy about that, it's not good for any kind of experimentation. It seems like what they're saying is we don't want to experiment. We don't want to try new things because we tried new things and people didn't like them. It doesn't really seem like there's an admission of maybe those new things weren't good. It seems like the idea is more like, hey, we tried something new, you didn't want it. You know, we added a new burger to the menu, you wouldn't eat it, it's on you. And that's always this attitude from these companies where it's like, yeah, it's been a hard year, we haven't done that great, you know, but look, these things have a built-in fan base. They already have this fan base, we don't have to work on building it up. I don't think Batman games actually had that prior to Arkham. You would have Batman games, they would do fine, and there were some good ones. You know, Batman Vengeance is fun, but mostly they were like mid to bad. There was no like built-in fan base around Batman games. It was just hardcore Batman fans wanting to buy a game where they could play as their favorite character. Arkham built that fan base, you know? And so I wonder, like, are you missing out on other characters? Are you missing out on Superman, The Flash, Green Lantern, you know, some of these other, I don't know, mainstays where you could build up an entire franchise around that and do something really cool with that? That's kind of what I worry about when you're talking about things like success ratio, financials, all these things that I know an executive has to focus on. That's their job. But there's more to it than that. And without the experimentation of Arkham, you would never have gotten to high financials, high success ratio. You wouldn't have gotten to those things. So if all you're doing is going back to what's proven, yes, it's a smart business decision, but then if any of those things fall off, you don't have anything else. We saw that with Arkham. I get concerned about that, and I see this all the time. I see it on YouTube. You know, I'll see people like, this topic did good, this is all I'm doing forever. And then sometimes that works for their whole career. Sometimes they get so burnt out they quit. Sometimes they hit the point where that topic falls off, no one cares, and that's all they had. You know, I see that with businesses. Oh, the best-selling item is this donut. Stock 1 trillion of it. Oh, people got tired of it. Well, that's all they came here for. We never branched out. We never did anything else. You know, you see this in the business world where it's good to focus on your mainstay. It's good to focus on what sells. For me, one of the main things I always come back to on YouTube is superhero videos, because you guys love those, and I love those, you know, for different superheroes. I have other channels. You know, I do Magical Jill, where we talk about anime. I'm self-plugging again. Bear with me. You know, I do JayRPG with role-playing games. I already said I do Degenerate Plays. I play through games. None of those things are as, you know, viable in terms of like views and in terms of like the amount of people who like them as superhero videos. But I still do them because I love them, you know, and I know that they matter to some people, and I'll grow those audiences over time. You know, it's something where I'm looking at it and I could take the easy path. I could just do one thing, but I will either get bored of it or it will fall off on its own. And you see that in pretty much everything. Like, a topic always falls off at some point. A brand always declines at some point. And if you only focus on one or two of those, you know, that's where I kind of worry about WB Games. Are you going to be having this same conversation in 10 to 15 years where you're like, well, we finished our new Batman series, we're moving on from that. We finished our Game of Thrones series, people don't really care anymore, we're moving on from that. Well, I guess we have Mortal Kombat. You know, it's like, well, you have to be able to branch out as well and do more than that. So it's good news to get Batman back. That's great. But it's not good news for creativity if it's a studio mandate. If the people under it don't want to do it, they have to leave then. You have to find someone who does want to do it, because that's your job to make something good. So if you don't want to do that, you shouldn't be there. And then also you have the fact that there's going to be a lot of creativity lost with, one, all these other characters and brands that they do own, like the Matrix. Matrix could be amazing games. Where are those? But you also have the problem of, like, fans are going to be yearning for something different at some point too. You know, I don't want WB Games to just drip feed people like the same thing over and over again. I know they're creative. I know they have a lot of amazing IPs. This company has some of the best IP in the world. Genuinely, some of the most creative, not the most, but some of the most creative, interesting stories and worlds out there. And yet they always shoehorn or pigeonhole themselves into like one little thing. And then when that falls off or people get tired of it, they're like, what do we do now? Why we not make money? What's going on? I don't understand. And it's like, I don't understand why losers in their house like me, you know, who are just sitting looking at this can see that pattern, but multi-billion-dollar executives don't see it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm glad Batman games are back, but like, it's frustrating to me to see where this industry is at, the lack of creativity, the lack of trying new things. It's just a bummer. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts. We also have our store, CosmoBunny.shop, where we take comic books, manga, magazines, all this damaged paper from damaged books. We turn it into something new for your home, transformatively into new art. You know, we take that art, give it new life in coasters, keychains, trays, and more. And we also have handmade beaded jewelry over there too. Getting into the Christmas season, if you have a nerdy friend, maybe yourself you want to treat, or mom, sister, very, very metrosexual boyfriend, you know, likes jewelry, all those stuff. It's all over there. So we appreciate you. Discount code DJAY123, same as our Fortnite code. Have a fantastic day. And as always, everyone, stay shway.